Hey everyone, I'm Rick and thanks for joining me. And if you haven't already, please consider hitting the subscribe button to help the channel grow. Today we're looking at another DAC, the FiiO K11 R2R. And I'd like to thank Apos Audio for loaning me a review sample. So first, let's take a look at the unit. Build quality wise, it's very nice. It's sturdy all the way around and I love the rounded edges. It's available in silver and in black, and I really like the encoder. It has this knurling on it that gives you really nice texture, so it has a nice grip when you're changing the volume or you're going through the menu. On the front side, we have our 6.35mm single-ended output and our 4.4mm Pentacon output, followed by a nice little screen, which we'll turn on in a second, and finally our rotary encoder with push button. On the back side, from the left, our DC input, and this unit does come with a small power brick, followed by our USB-C input, a Toslink optical input, digital coaxial input and output. You can actually use this as a digital out if you're connected via USB-C. And finally, our analog outs on RCA. Let's take a look at the menu. A single quick press activates the unit, and on the top, we have an LED. On the front, we have our sample rate, and we have our volume currently set to 99, and it's set to line out. When in line out, the rotary will not increase the volume, it's fixed. If we hold down the encoder, we'll go into our settings, and the first will be our headphone gain. And here we have 3 settings. A single click to activate, medium, high, or low. Press and spin, and we'll go into our next menu. Now here is our outputs. We have our line out, which again is fixed out. We have our headphones out, and we have our pre-out. On pre, we can control the volume of the rear RCA outputs with the volume encoder. Next is our sampling mode, and we have oversampling and non-oversampling. I prefer the non-oversampling. On oversampling, the K11 R2R will convert everything to 384 kHz. Next is our USB class, and you can do class 1 or class 2, followed by our brightness. I have it set to 2, but we can go dimmer to 1, or we can go all the way up to 3. Followed by our screen timeout. 0 will keep it on always. We have options for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and up to 30 minutes. Next is our RGB status settings, and here we can change the color of the LED on the top. Next is this LED pulsing effect, and N keeps it at constant, while Y will give you a pulsing effect on the FiiO logo. Next, our RGB brightness. We can crank it up to 5, or bring it all the way down to 0 for off. I prefer it off. Next, we have an idle setting, and this will turn the unit completely off after 30 minutes of no signal, or you can turn it off manually. Followed by an update, that's for firmware, a factory reset, and your firmware number. And the last thing is a return to exit out of the menu. As for specs on the K11 R2R, this is an R2R architecture and uses 192 precision resistors, and supports PCM files up to 24-bit 384 kHz and DSD to DSD 256, although that does get converted down to PCM for analog output. The headphone outputs give you up to 1.3 watts per channel out of the balanced and up to 660 milliwatts on the single-ended. No Bluetooth on this unit, so you can't use it with the FiiO Control app. And I think that's a missed opportunity because it would have been great to be able to control the volume and all the settings on your tablet or on your phone. It would have made it much easier than going through the menu system. I would love to see FiiO include Bluetooth on future DACs specifically to use a control app. It's a really nice feature to have. But for the K11 R2R's $159 asking price, I'm not mad at it at all. It's totally fine. So how does this unit sound? I've had the opportunity to test a few FiiO products now, and I wouldn't necessarily say that FiiO has a house sound. And that's totally fine. It gives the consumer more options. Their flagship K19 with the dual ESS DACs to me was much more detailed and analytical sounding, while the original K11 with a single Cirrus Logic chip was to me dimensionally flat and not musically engaging, and I really didn't care for that one at all. The K11 R2R though is a different matter altogether. It has a very nice full sound with rounded edges, and I wouldn't call them soft as they are well defined, but definitely not sharp. The soundstage has some depths and is decently wide as well. And imaging is good, with things generally well separated. Compared to the pricier SMSL RAW MDA1, the sound stages were matched in my system. Like I said earlier, I did prefer the K11 R2R in non-oversampling mode, and that's just because it gives me a little bit different flavor to all the other DACs that I have currently on hand. Non-oversampling mode is just a little more laid back, and that's how I was able to appreciate acoustical music a bit more. The oversampling mode is slightly brighter, crisper, and a little more shimmery. The upper treble is present enough, and it never got fatiguing in either modes. The vocals to me are the star of the show with the K11 R2R. Just very natural sounding, with a lack of sharpness, but still very detailed. And honestly, the most natural DAC I've heard at its price point in under $200. Compared to the $280 raw MDA1, the bass isn't as accurate on the K11 R2R, but it's still nice and deep. The raw MDA1 is just a little punchier on the bass side of things. Now comparing the FiiO R11 to the Doak Audio P1 Plus, now this unit comes in at around $200, and this is a ESS 9018 bass DAC with a tube buffer. The P1 Plus is more holographic, but at the cost of detail. And the P1 Plus bass is still fuller than the K11 R2R, however that bass is noticeably looser as well. You definitely lose the texture in the bass with the P1 Plus. The Doak here is definitely the more colored of the DACs, but I think that's intentional on Doak's part. The P1 Plus is also more feature rich. The K11 R2R on the other hand is the more refined sounding DAC. As for the headphone outputs, the output on the K11 R2R isn't at the level of the raw MDA1, and it's nowhere close to a topping D50 Mark III, A50 Mark III stack, but that's over double the price. I think the headphone outputs on the K11 R2R are more of a nice to have on a desktop setup as opposed to the main reason to buy this DAC. I'd personally buy this DAC for its line out sound quality. Either shoot that out to a higher end headphone amplifier or over to your power amp on your main system. Versus the headphone out on the P1 Plus though, I choose the FiiO K11 all day. So to sum this one up, for the $159 asking price of the K11 R2R, it's an easy recommendation for somebody looking for a softer, more natural sounding DAC. It's a great buy. And great job on this one, FiiO. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.